I'm a go-getter. Coming for the town, we gon' burn it down, 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 down. No, they don't know better. Never had a doubt, they gon' hear us now, 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 now. We gon' party up with a cup round a bonfire. Jacked up trucks, raising hell with the mud tie. Candy on the plane, she's a bad beat. Money in the bank, bought the Jack D, sippin' country.
To say the 2025 Proam year has been hectic for me is a bit of an understatement, honestly. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Paul Gracie. I am a SpecD Pro-Am driver in the SpecD Pro Drift Series, which is a Formula Drift licensing series here in Western Canada. And I'm also a Bout Series Pro driver in the Bout Series, which is another series kind of local here to Alberta right now. And yeah, right now we're going to go over kind of my mid-season, I guess, recap. So far we have done 2 rounds of SpecD and 1 round of the Bout Series. Uh, Unfortunately, I won't be making the third round of SpecD. It sucks, but I have some more important stuff in my eyes to do this July. So we do still have 1 round of the Bout Series left, which is going to be sometime in the later summer. Um, but as soon as we get that date finalized, then I'll know for sure when I'm driving there. Um, Before we really jump into this video, I just want to give a massive thank you to the sponsors that have helped with this car this season. Without them, I really wouldn't have made it. We have the Tire Spot, which is a good friend of mine named Craig. Met him through drifting. He immediately wanted to jump on board with my car when I met him. He's been a huge help. Everything I need, no questions asked. He's there. So if you guys are looking for any wheels and tires in the Edmonton area, hit up Craig at the Tire Spot Leduc. Best deals, and if you're looking for something specific, he'll find it. Trust me. Then we have ACR, which is Alex Chesson Repairs. It's a diesel repair shop here in Fort McMurray, and the only people that I trust personally with my Ram. Actually, Alex and the guys over at ACR really saved me a couple weeks ago, coming up to round two. I had a turbo failure on my truck with 2 days before we left for BC, which is when you don't even have parts, it's kind of a impossible task, but they managed to get it done. So we upgraded to a Fleece Cheetah turbo on my Ram, and the truck has been flawless since then. So massive thank you to the guys over at ACR. Uh, in my opinion, best diesel repair shop in Fort McMurray. Next up, we got Platinum Towing and Recovery. Robert with Platinum has been unreal for me. There's no job that he will not accept. Like, he's done everything from he's gotten a boat that was stuck on a sandbar. I think he told me it was. He's pulled RVs out of like alleyways where he couldn't even back his truck up to it. He had to like set up crazy systems to pull these vehicles out. He's smart and he cares about what he does, so he takes good care of everybody's vehicles. Um, we are also driving this year, thankfully, for Dorman Products, which was an unbelievable company to jump on board with this car for the season. If you don't know who Dorman Products are, you do. Anyone who's bought in parts from like pretty much any parts store, whether it's Canadian Tire, Napa, Bumper to Bumper, these guys all supply Dorman products. Dorman makes unbelievable OEM replacement parts and aftermarket parts for cars, right from headlights to sensors to everything. Dorman was a massive help this season, and I'm grateful for them jumping on board with this car this year. Then we have probably the company that has been helping me, well, helping 881 as a whole for the last few years, and that's Napa, Fort McMurray, and Napa Canada. Uh, Napa Fort McMurray has been a massive help to me with any parts that I need that day. They have been unbelievable. I can go in there. The team in there is excellent. They'll find you everything you need. Napa Canada, what more can I say? These guys have it all, and they are always down to help. They're huge into motorsports, and the team that's running Napa Canada right now is seriously unbelievable. We met some of them here at Northern Bout. They came in to watch the event, and these guys are awesome. And I will always drive for Napa if that opportunity is there. And for title sponsorship, uh, not really much to thank these people for because technically I'm my own title sponsor. But 881 Apparel Co. is our title sponsor this year, which is a company I am a part of. I'm wearing the merch right now. And yeah, it's a company me and my friend JC started. He's been with 881. He was the founder of 881 themselves back in 2019. But about 2 years ago, or maybe it was last summer, we decided to start making more merchandise, and we kind of ran with that, changed to an official 881 apparel company. And yeah, we've been spitting out merch like crazy. JC's an unbelievable designer, and yeah, we're going to be launching on our website soon enough, so make sure you stay tuned for that because we will have some awesome merch available. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's talk about my season so far this year. So, like I said, we've had 2 rounds of SpecD so far and 1 round of the Bout series. Unfortunately, I didn't win a single battle this year. It sucks, but it's the name of the game sometimes. We fought car issues, just terrible luck. Well, honestly, 1 round was car issues. The next round was bad luck, and the 3rd round was I just was not good enough against that driver. All 3 of the drivers that I've battled this year are unbelievable. 3 completely amazing drivers. In SpecD round 1, we got put up against Brett Alexander, who is a rookie this year, but being a rookie does not mean anything. This guy is an unbelievable driver. He's gone toe-to-toe already with some of the points leaders in the series. He's a phenomenal driver. He also drives for 881 Apparel Co. And then the Bout series, round 1 at Northern Bout, I went up against Mark Dunbar, who is we call him Drift Jesus. He is a absolute veteran in the sport of drifting here in Canada. He's been Formula Drift Pro Spec licensed. He never went to Pro Spec. He didn't want to, but he's good enough to go there. He's an absolutely phenomenal driver, and he's actually taught me a lot when it comes to drifting. He was one of the guys that I was watching locally here before I drove myself, and to battle Mark was unbelievable. He is insanely good. He puts down such perfect lead runs that you can chase them no issues, and you can trust him as a driver to not do anything kind of wonky that can throw you off in the chase. And then our 3rd battle the season was at Agassiz Speedway in British Columbia against another rookie who was local to that track. He drives that track all the time, and he is phenomenal. His name was Dakota Jansen, and Dakota was tied for number 1 qualifier at that event, and he's a phenomenal driver. His lead run was so perfect. I was able to chase it to a T. I wish I could say that about myself. I did have a couple mistakes in my lead that even with that, he was able to chase me unbelievably well. So he is a phenomenal driver. So let's get into watching some of my qualifying runs, and then we'll watch some of the battles with what I do have. So we'll start with SpecD round 1.
Here we go. Brett Alexander leading Paul Gracie off the line as we begin our first battle of the 25 season. Paulie G keeping good pace here into the run-up. Both drivers initiating on that second standing cone. Brett Alexander up to an early lead. High on the bank right now for Alexander. Dropping in, taking out the first inside clip. Now filling that second outer zone. Nice snappy transition there for Brett Alexander. Paul Gracie needs to put that pedal down. Starting to drop out of frame here. Brett Alexander doing work out front in that lead position. Nice up against across the line for Brett Alexander. So lights are on for the second half of Paulie G and Brett Alexander. Let's see what we get out of this one. as it's lights out and away we go. Paulie G off the line first, Brett Alexander in tow. Here we go, both drivers pacing each other really well into the course. Nose to tail entry. Brett Alexander keeping good distance of Paul G here. Paul G very nice on the bank. Brett Alexander keeping it close. A lot higher on the bank than Paul G is right now. Brett Alexander really dialing it in the chase. Look at that, right in the pocket. Has to back out of it just a little bit, but keeping a good distance to himself. And Paul Gracie looking really good for Brett Alexander right now, showing a lot of dominance in the chase position. Meanwhile, Paulie G, big snap angle as he goes down the hill and has to shut it down and bail it out. Brett Alexander is going to come across the line, and
So, as you guys just saw there, unfortunately I don't have the footage from the qualifying of SpecD round 1. But as you guys just saw there, in my chase run, I was non-existent. I was not there. Brett had such a massive gap out on me. I was kind of fighting all weekend, very, a little angry. We just did so much work under the hood of this car. It's making about 430th tire right now, all motor. And I felt like I didn't have any power. I was upset. I didn't know why I had to keep upping air pressure. The car was gripping up. We were fighting it, and I just couldn't figure it out. Then, as you could see in my lead run, things were okay. I was a little bit shallow here and there, again, due to feeling like I didn't have power. And then into the last turn of my lead run, I snapped the angle a bit too quick, and I discovered an issue with my angle kit, which is if you snap a bit too quick to angle, especially if there's a bump, which was the case there. There was a little bit of a bump. The adapter on the knuckle can actually jump over the bump stop and get stuck on the bump stop. So you're metal on metal, and my steering was locked. So I was able to rip it off, but by the time I was able to rip it off, I pretty much had to shut it down and drive off track because I knew Brett was coming in behind me like a freight train. So that was very unfortunate. And the biggest unfortunate thing about that is that when I got back to Fort McMurray, I'm sitting in the car and I'm upset. I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy with whatever was going on with the car. Did not feel like it was that much faster than last season. Last season we were bone stock 4.8, and now we're a fully built 6-liter. So I knew that something wasn't right, which is when I noticed my TPS was not on my digital dash. So I changed that. I put the TPS on there, put my foot to the floor, and I was running 52% throttle. So round 1, the reason I had no power was that the mount I had for my throttle cable had broken. I didn't notice it. Since my negligence, I didn't have my TPS on my screen. I had no idea I was running that whole weekend with 52% throttle. We did pull the intake off, put it to the floor. My roommate checked, verified. Yeah, we're only getting about half throttle. So that sucks. We have fixed it since then, and let me tell you, that was the issue. The car is completely different now, but I don't want to say that's the reason I lost that battle to Brett, because he is a phenomenal driver, but I do feel like having that situation fixed, I could have qualified much better at round 1. I probably wouldn't have had Brett first round, and there was a much better chance that I could have went a few more rounds.
Filling up that outer zone 1 beautifully, hauling on that left front brake. Little bit shallow coming out of outer zone 2, but he hits on second zone 1. There's definitely going to be
winning hat boy. All right, here we go. Mark Dunbar leading, Paul Gracie at toe. Mark Dunbar putting down a really good solid lead lap right now. Gracie's going to have to close the proximity because we all know Mark's follows through. Sacrificing a bit of the angle to get on post. Oh, but he's right there with him. Now all he has to do is mimic Mark's angle.
Paul Gracie, we go! Paul Gracie in. From that third outside zone.
So, Bout Series, round 1, Northern Bout. Car was working phenomenal all weekend. I was doing some great laps in practice, but as you can see, the only video I have of my first qualifying run, I made a massive mistake at the inner clip, huge correction, and that left me with a score of 65, I believe it was. Then my second qualifying lap, unfortunately, I don't have a video of it, but we began to have fuel issues. So I don't know what was wrong with my fuel pump because the issue has gone away. We did a whole nother round with this car since then with 0 issues. But my second qualifying lap was dropping fuel pressure like crazy, and the car would die out. I'd be able to kick it back up. But my second qualifying round ended up being a 0 due to the car just kept dying out. So that put us pretty close to the bottom. I was like second to last in qualifying because of that. When like my practice laps were, I was doing some laps that were definitely much higher up. So that was unfortunate. So that put us against Mark Dunbar. And as you guys can see in the battle, my chase against Mark was decent. It wasn't a perfect chase, but I had some proximity. I had to cut angle in a few spots to maintain that proximity. But all in all, it was a decent chase run. Judges were happy with the chase run. I was happy with the chase run. So then we switched it up and we got into my lead run. We were running the exact same tires, same wheels, same pressures all weekend long. And we had 0 issues. We were hot lapping like crazy. Everything was going great. I jump into my lead run against Mark, and I initiate. I immediately DB'd a tire. Immediately. That rear tire came off, and there was nothing I could do. It was metal on metal. That wheel hit the ground and just sent me through the barricades. There was no saving it, really, at that point. I tried kicking the clutch, trying to drive out of it before I hit the barricades, but there was nothing. I just skidded right into the barricades, and that knocked me out of the first round of the Bout Series. Super unfortunate. Again, Mark is a phenomenal driver. I knew he was going to be on my door regardless, so I did have to kind of initiate harder than I was initiating all weekend long. But what can you do? That's the way things go sometimes, and I'm still pretty happy with the weekend of Northern Bout regardless, just because that event is more for me. It's just hanging out with my friends in our hometown here of Fort McMurray and just having a laugh. We had such amazing drivers that weekend. There was so much from grassroots to pro. It was an unreal time. Everybody just had a blast. And because of those things, that made up for the unfortunate circumstances that took me out of competition. So with that, let's get on to round 2 of SpecD Series at Agassiz Speedway in British Columbia.
Where my BMW fans at? Nice. I love this audience. You guys are the best. All right, here we go. Paul Gracie, hot and heavy off the line. Let's see what he's got in it. Nice flick of angle in there for Paul Gracie. A little bit long on the e-brake now, working his way up on that bank. Just as I say that, locks up that left foot. Whoa, real shallow for Paul G. Now starting to work it out to that second outer zone. Nice and snappy past that first inside clip. As we go hunting for that last outer zone. Going to be a full pull there for Paul Gracie. Currently sitting on a score of 68. I know Paulie G can do a little bit better than that, so let's see how he goes. 65. Oh, it's just my own notes. Okay. Sorry, I just added a few points there to Paulie G, but that was incorrect. 65 for Paul G. So let's see what he's got here. Firing it in, looking for that wall. Paul Gracie. Really nice and committed this time around. Hear that nice consistent throttle note. A little bit off that first touch and go. Now transitioning for that second outer zone. Not doing too bad here for Paul Gracie. He's going to wrap it out here. And that,
So, as you just saw by our 2 qualifying runs, they were okay, but they weren't my best runs by any means. I'm still really trying to figure out kind of the mental aspect of all this stuff. Some people can just go and do it. Me, I get way too in my thoughts, especially being on my second year and not being past top 16 yet. It's kind of a mental battle. So when I'm going up there, I'm always telling myself, you got to go hard, you got to do it, you got to do it. And I always psych myself out. Usually end up making some mistakes, but qualifying runs weren't terrible. Second run was much better, a bit higher on the bank, and kind of filled every zone. That left us with a score of 69. To me, I was debatable. I think it was a little bit better than a 69, but all in all, it put us in the competition. It made us skip the top 32 because there wasn't enough drivers. So there was only a few that had to go into top 32 and battle it out to get into the 16. So it did push us right into top 16, which put us up against, tied for number 1 qualifier that weekend. He had a 90 in his qualifying, and that was Dakota Jansen. And I'll show you those battles now.
all right, here we go. Paulie G going to give Jansen a chase run. And remember here, Dakota Jansen starting things off on fire here up on the wall. Paulie G trying to find some inroads here, trying to get the pierogi, trying to get the win. Mr. Jansen showing you why he was in a 3-way tie for first place qualifying out front, though, as he fills that second touch and go. Now filling that last outer zone. Look at the dive in there for Paul Gracie. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Dakota Jansen, meanwhile, looking to advance into the top 8 in his first SpecD competition. He's got to get past the infamous Paulie G. Paul Gracie firing it in nice and high on the wall. Look at Dakota Jansen immediately up to the doors of Paul Gracie. Oh wow, big left foot brake there for Jansen in that chase position. Huge transition for Paulie G up front. Jansen sticking with it like sour cream all over those pierogies. He is going everywhere Paulie G is right now. What a fantastic battle. What a fantastic run. Make some noise for Paul.
So, as you can see there, Dakota's a phenomenal driver. His lead run was impeccable. He was high up on that bank. Pulled the gap a bit on me at the initiation. I managed to reel him in kind of by the end of first outer zone into the touch and go. Was able to stay with him there for most of the run after that. Gave him a little bump at the very end of the last outer zone just before the finish line. But all in all, he's a phenomenal driver. Dakota can put that car on that track exactly where he wants it to be. And I'm kind of grateful that I got to drive with him, because chasing him kind of showed me where to better my lines myself at that track. Because he knows it like the back of his hand, and he knows exactly how to drive it. So then my chase run, or my lead run, sorry, as you can see, I was a little lower on the bank than he was. And he was able to keep with me on that initiation and kind of push me through the entire track. So that's all on me. That one, car was working phenomenal that weekend, and that Dakota is just he's a great driver. So he pushed me pretty much around the entire track, and he ended up getting the win into the top 8. So to the 3 guys that I got to battle this season, Brett, Mark, and Dakota, you guys are all awesome. Seriously, had a blast battling all 3 of you guys. Mark and Brett are 2 guys that I was hoping I would get to battle this year, because I didn't really know who Dakota was going into round 2 of SpecD there. But Mark and Brett are 2 guys I know very well, and I was really hoping I got to battle them this year. So I'm happy with that. We got one more round to go, the Bout series. So as soon as that date's announced, we're gonna vlog this that whole weekend, that whole competition weekend. We got camera gear now, and I'm gonna show what it's like for me weekend at a pro drift event. Yeah, so follow along, hit the subscribe button, and get ready for more uploads because we got a lot of work to do, which includes building a whole new pro chassis.
Looking for a window to the